At this hour, I'm Christina Aguayo in Dallas, and here are your top stories.
The Texas State Board of Education has approved a Bible-based curriculum for public schools in kindergarten through 5th grade. It's called Bluebonnet, and it includes lessons from the New Testament and from the books of Genesis and Psalms in the Old Testament. And while the Bible-based curriculum is not mandatory, schools that decide to incorporate it in their teachings will receive extra funding from the state. For now, the Christian teachings will be added to English language arts and reading. However, it could be expanded to other areas in the future. The victory is the latest for Republicans who are working to put God back in schools nationwide. In fact, Louisiana just passed a law requiring all state schools to display the Ten Commandments, while Oklahoma ordered public schools to incorporate Bible lessons in grades 5 through 12, and the superintendent purchased 500 Bibles that contain foundational documents for the country, like the Declaration of Independence, to go in high schools. However, some are not happy about the moves, and lawsuits have been filed in both states. In Texas, the American Federation of Teachers said that, quote, the materials contain an unwelcome and unnecessary quantity of Bible references. Bluebonnet will be used in classrooms starting August of 2025. The battle over age verification with porn companies continues on as Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton is looking to put an end to it once and for all. Paxton filing a brief with the Supreme Court asking it to uphold House Bill 1181, which is the Texas law requiring pornography websites to institute reasonable age verification measures to block children from obscene online material. Texas will argue the case before Scotus on January 15th. Paxton saying the argument is simple, posting that these companies do not have a right to expose children to pornography. He adds that Texas has a clear interest in protecting children and has been successful defending the common sense age verification law against a powerful global industry. The AG also thanked the numerous organizations and elected leaders who support the Texas law. President Donald Trump signed a required agreement with Joe Biden's White House that allows his transition team to start working with federal workforce before he takes office on January 20th. The agreement is a critical step in the process meant to make sure that an orderly transfer of power takes place at noon on Inauguration Day and is an opportunity for the Trump team to see what's going on in Biden's massive federal government so he's aware of which programs and operations he may want to adjust or change. A federal judge permanently blocked a Biden administration rule that would have made about 4 million salaried workers eligible for overtime pay. The U.S. District Judge out of Texas said that the U.S. Department of Labor rule that took effect back in July improperly based eligibility for overtime pay on a person's wages rather than their job duties. The state of Texas and multiple business groups filed lawsuits challenging the rule, to which the judge struck down after saying in June that it was likely invalid and temporarily blocked it from being applied to Texas state employees. The rule would have required employers to pay overtime premiums to salaried workers who earn less than $1,128 a week, or about $58,600 a year, when they work more than 40 hours in a single week beginning January 1st, and it had temporarily raised the threshold to about $44,000 a year on July 1st. A New Hampshire jury has found a former leader at a youth detention center guilty of holding down a teen while he was raped in 1998. 70-year-old Bradley Asbury was found guilty on 2 counts of being an accomplice to aggravated sexual assault. He faces a maximum prison term of 20 years on each count. Asbury served as a White House leader at the Sununu Youth Services Center in Manchester. It was the second criminal trial to stem from a broad 2019 investigation into long-standing abuse at the center. Asbury is among 11 men who worked there or at an associated facility in Concord who were arrested. Interpol says it arrested more than 1,000 suspects in Africa during a massive 2-month operation that clamped down on cybercrime that impacted tens of thousands of victims, including some of who were trafficked, and produced millions in financial damages. The global police organization said that Operation Serengeti, a joint operation with Afripol, ran from September 2nd to October 31st in 19 African countries and targeted criminals behind ransomware, business email compromise, digital extortion, and online scams. Interpol identified 35,000 victims during the operation, with cases linked to nearly $193 million in financial losses worldwide. People with HIV who need a kidney or liver transplant will be able to receive an organ from a donor with HIV. That's according to a new rule announced Tuesday by U.S. health officials. Previously, these kinds of transplants could be done only as part of research studies. The new rule that takes effect this week is expected to shorten the wait for organs for everyone, regardless of HIV status, by increasing the pool of available organs. The UK Supreme Court has begun hearing a legal challenge that focuses on the definition of a woman in a long-running dispute between a women's right campaign group and the Scottish government. 5 judges at Britain's highest court are considering a case which looks to clarify whether a biological male that identifies as a woman and has a gender recognition certificate that recognizes them as female can be regarded as a woman under equality law. While the case centers on Scottish law, the women's campaign group bringing the challenge has said its outcome could have UK-wide consequences for sex-based rights as well as everyday single-sex services such as toilets and hospital wards. The ceasefire between Israel and the terror group of Hezbollah has started in Lebanon. The U.S. and French presidents announced the deal on Tuesday. The IDF has agreed to leave Lebanon, and the terror group pledged to move further north away from the Israeli border. Ross Cullen reports.
Well, the ceasefire is a major victory for the US President Joe Biden and his French counterpart Emmanuel Macron. They've been able to get Israel and Hezbollah to sign up to the agreement, which sees the Israeli Defense Forces leaving Lebanon over the next 60 days. Hezbollah moving further north, and thousands of soldiers from the Lebanese army moving into the south of the country to ensure that the ceasefire is respected. Many Lebanese families are already trying to get back to the south of the country from where they were displaced by the fighting, but there is widespread destruction in that part of the country.
In Dallas, Christina Aguayo, Salem News Channel.